Ewa na ewa, lone modu, lone mi modu. Mama, akwanama, lone mada, lone mao, lone mada, lone ma, lone ye, lone we, lone mo, abade gogo, lone ma, abade gogo. Kalonde mama bade gogo, ekuna ya gogo. Ewa wana ewa, Una mi welo momie, ekuna we galonde mi ma, galonde mama bade gogo. Ana de bona uga egina, ana de bona uga egina. Ewa ana ewa, londe manu namaye, londe manu namaye, londe manu namaye. Wela boga egina ye, me wela boga egina ye. Tono egana, longe la nyanga, ana egana lomo karenye, dua lomo ko anama, dua lomo ko. Ana ele ngabemwe, ana ele ngabemwe. Ya kuna lomo miwa, ena we galonde miwa, galonde ma ngabade ipobo, galonde ma ngabade ipobo. Ana elo ngabemwe. Ewala ana ewa, ewala ana ewa, londe manu namaye, londe manu namaye. Ana elo, elawa, yana we, lomo miwa, kunu namwe we, londe miwe, ya dempanga bade ibobo. Ana kwetumo, ana kwetumo, ana kwetumo, ana kwetumo, ana kwetumo. Ana adopanywe, ana adopanywe, ana mo adopanyo, malobo na wasanyo, malobo na wasanyo. Sandela juwa ba walongo, sandela juwa ba walongo. Engama kwale kamobo kabalo ne kubo. Ewa ana ewa londe manu namaye, ana ewa londe manu namaye, londe manu namaye. Mwadana onganwa tawana duale ngabemwe, duale kuna moke londe rubo. Dabaliye dulu nyangela, diaka na bebo aga londe mo. Daba mweja liba mwalo, gayele liba teo, gayele liba walo, dale nyarela diga mwebu. Nyangwe da mongwe, nyanga duba diga monukwe, gadale yamalo wo bubaleye. Kobaleye kwelaga yetebo, kobaleye kwelaga yetebo. Yamoyo, ya yamo babalo mema, malone kobaleye yanga, yamo papa baleye yanga, yamo papa baleye yanga. Nwedanga adelo molebo, dadenga badinga ma yangodia, dedia ke ya balungwe. Ya no abo vale yanga, ya no abo vale yanga pelaga yetebo. Ewa ana ewa londe manu namaye, londe manu ewa ana ewa londe manu namaye. Ana ewa, ana ewa, ana ewa, ana ewa, ana ewa.
Good evening, good evening. Welcome. Today is Wednesday, and I'm your host, Lee Angle, the Francis Dean. So right here, this evening time check is 8:05 Eastern Standard Time. We want to welcome our viewers and listeners across the globe, right here in the USA, Liberia, and in parts of the world. By the way, if this is the first time, we say you are wholeheartedly welcome. You are on official news outlet of the Liberia Public Radio and Lpr-Tv, making news fair, balanced, and proportionate. Tonight is your famous midweek program, All Things Considered. And of course, you are also on a consideration in talking so much of what is unfolding in the West African state of the Republic of Liberia. And of course, you, like I always told you here, you are a major shareholder. Do not allow these politicians to determine your directions or tell you what to go. And this is why we are always here to make it fair, balanced, and proportional from the liberals and his group. Mr. George, good to have you here. Maurice Duclet, good to have you here. Sekou Sharif, whatever you are, we say good to have you. Josiah, Bajibo Fremont, Siaka, Duarte, that's Duarte, good to have you here. Emmanuel is in the house. Florence is here. Leo, Prince Kamara, Yasa, Nisiaka, Lopez. Let's go on to along the way. We of course are going to give recognitions to parents, and of course, KZ Emmanuel Poor, one of the strong community leaders. Good evening. Good to have you here this evening. Preston, good to have you here. Sandra is in the house. This is your informative news magazine, All Things Considered. Does the rhythm sound like good evening, good afternoon, good morning. If you are in Liberia or whatever you are in Europe, we say good morning, we say good afternoon. If you are right here, good evening right here in the USA or other parts of the world. I am your host and presenter, Alfonso Z. And so right here this evening in today's editions of All Things Considered, and hopefully the analyst is going to be here, and we're going to have this conversation right here this evening, keeping it fair, balanced, and proportional, and where you will be able to speak as well as a Liberian without your voice being sanctioned. You know, there are some folks here, the last 2 days I've been listening to them. The people who are in charge, the liberal and his guy, Jerry Washington, and the tendency to always, if you notice the liberal, the things not going the way, he comes here and he will be speaking in a very exhortatory tone. You have to be very way ahead of the game to decode his language. And then he will start jumping. His tabata is deliberate. That is when he's out of talking point. Then this is where he insert that tabata, because he tried to figure out, and then he began to call his ally on this network, the Reverend from Minnesota as well, Terry. and call themselves rescue, and we just flew all over the place, all over, with the sole purpose to confuse you and not give you the opportunity to form part of the conversation. And we, on the other end, we are here to make it fair, to balance, because they feel you are not part of the system. You never supported the idea. So they deliberately, on purpose, count you out. They divide the country. They become divisive. And I bring that to talking to national disco as well. You will always listen to him saying, I have a Chinese phone. And the Chinese phone is meant for those who have genuine disagreement, or even with the sole purpose just to get few clarifications of what they are saying, what their message are, to be persuasive. They don't. He and his guy Jerry Barkons, backed by the Reverend from Minnesota, they come here and they will begin to make comparisons of the past. I try to validate their argument. We have long passed that. That's not what we're going to be doing here. This is sort of deceit on the part of those that sit behind the microphone and they think they're going to just make fun out of Liberian people or just come for entertainment. No, that is unacceptable. And we will frown on that. And this is where we stand in the gap as a cutting edge guy to cut through it. But it's getting to be more or less serious. It's getting to the point where some political decisions has to be made for the good of the country and for our own conviction for the betterment of our country. That's how, unfortunately, that's the directions of the country. That's what we love to see doing. And so we have to create that situation to be very subjective in the past. We will not follow. We will not be like them. They are unable to call their people name. Even when they are doing the wrongly. They will speak in security code, in engineering code, and, confuse themselves, thinking that they are confusing people. That is unacceptable. They are just doing our country unjust. But for us, we intend not to leave no one behind. Despite of all of these things, we will allow them to, we will make our case, we will bring them to public light to tell them exactly who they are, so that when you see them in the next coming cycle, their full identity will be disclosed. And that's what we intend to do on this network. And this is why he has carried on a massive recruitment and tried to liberalize and virtualize this network. This is the guy who was with his own party. They just jumping here and there, flying from party to party, finding some sort of political accommodation. And the thing, we do not know the game. No, I'm not a member of this party, but I admire, I'm a follower. So how in the first place, as someone you do not know, they do not know you, how can you perfectly articulate their vision? So what are you bringing to the table? And then when you come, when things getting dicey here and there, and then you want to speak in code so that you will confuse Telegram people. What? One of his patron is here. But I love this guy. His political tolerance is unbelievable. And, a career officer now turned to be politician. This is how terrible the country is. A career officer, police officer, trained. Now he's a politician now. He wants to be in multiple places at the same time. So one day he's in the navy blue suit, LMP, and the next day he's in the political government. But let me just bring in here, in the interest of fairness, to have the conversations. Welcome, Mr. Jared Barkons, is LPR security analyst right here on my own ocean state of Rhode Island. Mr. Barkon, good evening. So welcome to the show. This is All Things Considered. You know the traditions of this network every Wednesday. And the good thing is the civil liberties of our people, of our followers, they are cheering, they are celebrating tonight because they have the opportunity to make their side of the story instead of strangulating people when you and your guy here and you just roll on with your what about Tabata's story here. People are sick and tired of you guys, so we'll be here to put you guys in jail. Happy Wednesday. Welcome to the show.
Happy Ash Day if you are Catholic and wherever you are, all the Catholics were. Thank you for the Ash Day.
Do not seek any friendship from me here. I'm not a Catholic. So if you can do that to the audience. Let me just tell you right now, because when you hear a guy here, you can have the leverage to do whatever you're going to do. There is no friendship here. We're going to draw the fine line right after the show. We can talk whatever business is. So whether I'm a Catholic, I'm a Buddhist, or who I am, that's none of your business. Just let's get the ball rolling, extend that to the audience, to the viewers, and they will appreciate that. I don't need that. Go ahead.
I said to you personally, I said to all my Catholic brothers and sisters that are out there, that's what I said. That's what I said. I said to you per se. If you're Catholic, then thank you. But what I said, oh my God, the Ash Day, that's what I said. So I don't see why you're getting so tense.
I'm getting tense. I'm getting tense. I'm getting because the direction of my country. The direction you're taking our country can make any patriotic Liberian upset, and that's what I'm upset for, to tell you. But good to have you here. Let's have a conversation.
So we are not. So we are not a patriotic Liberians as well. You're the only patriotic Liberian.
I'm just giving account of myself. But good to have you, Mr. Barkon. How are you doing today?
Okay. Anyway, all things considered, that's where there's no limitation. Let's go. Let's get the ball rolling. Let's keep moving.
We're going to get a ball rolling, but I'm going to be very critical.
What is on your mind?
I am the one going to question you. You are not questioning me, and I will be able to give a direction in case you want to insert your way here. That's not going to happen because this is what you and Liberal do. You know the critical stuff that are ongoing, and when you come here, then he takes all to Town, from Town to Kenton, Ohio. And you go and be in Durwood, that's not what the people are not interested in that. And I'm here tonight to give some good advices to the United Party establishment. And I'm going to be directing this message through you as a chief surrogate to the president. And I hope I'm doing it in good faith for the good of our country. Some of these strategies that you guys don't have, and you're taking all sort of unilateral decisions without knowing the repercussion, and you think just being a leader or in charge is all about you and you, that is wrong. And that's what I want to get the focus going this evening. What are you considering, Mr. Barkon? Don't be intimidated. You know how I can talk. You know how I can get this. Because the part of what I'm doing is to demand some genuine answers from you guys. I just need a genuine answer. So look in the eyes of the camera and say, yes, I support this guy. Yes, I'm a favor of this person here, but this is what this administration is doing. This is what this person is doing. This is where my disappointment. And that's what I want you to be like me. Let's get a ball rolling. What is on your plate?
Listen, nobody will never going to be like Jerry Barker. Nobody never going to be like you, who's a CEO. So we all have differences, but we all have to work as a team together to accomplish our goals, especially when it comes to Liberia. What I want to play today, I'm waiting for, I think the 15th or the 15th next month or the 15th of this month, the better information to the Supreme Court and see what decision they're going to make about the hearing of. So that's important. See where we are. with the speakership saga that we're having in the country now for the past going to almost 2 years now. See, let's come up with a
Who
resolution
created the
and let the
speakership?
Liberian people start.
What? I should be asking that
Oh, hold
question.
on, I see.
Who created the speakership saga? It is you guys' own creation. It is you guys make what about makeup? It is you guys brought it on us. We should be pondering. We should be wondering. So I'm kind of taking it back. You should be telling us what the Supreme Court is going to be saying.
Well, it's important. It is important. The last place of our land where you go and see redress. The Supreme Court made decision. Anything that is very controversial, that's why the Supreme Court take the case because it's something that is interesting in the future of the nation. So the Supreme Court always take a case. It's not somebody do something. So the Supreme Court is going to make a decision and the bit of information, and let's see how it goes. That's what I'm saying. It's interesting. Pay attention to it. All those that are interested in the welfare of the country. I don't know. I don't know what the Supreme Court. I can't tell you. I cannot tell you. I cannot predict and say what the Supreme. One thing you cannot tell the Supreme Court is this is how the Supreme Court is going to make a decision. But listen, but yes, listen. What I can tell you, being inside or outside out, you can't tell the Supreme Court this is that. I can give my opinion on what the Supreme Court is thinking or the understanding of the law and all these things. I can do it, but I can't tell this is what the Supreme Court is going to say. No.
Let me get your honest opinion. Let me get your honest opinion.
The honest opinion, yeah. It is interesting because the Minister of Justice, he advised to the president. Now you're going back to the Supreme Court and see why the Supreme Court going to say. That's why I said at this point to say yes, definitely this is what the Supreme Court going to do. I'll be fooling our listener, and I don't want to do that. And say, oh, Mr. Bacon, you said that yesterday, and this is what the Supreme Court has said. So it's fascinating. Love fascinating our seatbelt and see what the Supreme Court going to say. It is Supreme Court say, Mr. Kofa is a legitimate. I come in. He's a legitimate speaker, or Mr. What's his name, Kuhn, or Richard, and we take it from there. Then the bureau, listen. It is time for us to move forward. Let's settle the case in one and for all. Let's update and move on with life in Liberia. That's
the devil is in you guys' hands. We are not. You are the one to.
No. There are three branches of government. There are three branches of government. Three branches of government.
This combustion that we are having, this flame that we are having, you guys created it. You are unable to look in the eyes of the camera. But let's digress here a little bit here because I want to take you as a trained security person. I've done a little bit stuff. I reviewed whatever these retired people, you and the Joseph Boycott group sent forth to go to Liberia to just enrich them to add up to the retirement plan. They give whatever investigation release or whatever it is, no breathing, nothing. Gregor Coleman out of shame, out of disgrace because he's being used, failing to uphold his professional cap, and his sake or whatever it is. I'm not going to buy into that. People must be held accountable. Let's talk a little bit here. Have you had a chance to peruse these three gentlemen retirees from here who are not even expert in that area? We don't know who they talk to. Only the government, you guys are the people that know. Your mayor selection, people who they're going to talk to, and they die something, and now they're taking the speaker every minute, every other day, now calling him for investigation when the case was way ahead, adjudicated. This is a shame. This is a disgrace. Am I lying?
No, you're lying. I don't call people lawyer, but I think you're misguided.
Okay.
I think you're misguided. No. Well, here's the thing. Investigation, especially the magnitude of that case, is an arson against the state. The state, it doesn't
Who
matter
said that?
whether you can be the president. Hold on. Here you are. You say the former speaker is being investigated. He is being brought before the police department to do an investigation. We don't leave no stone unturned.
I still
Everybody's hold on.
Now the Washingtons are all coming, and I'm ready to take you guys on because you nothing for the Delaware guy. That's okay. The next thing is the Sacramento guy going to come. Moss, good evening. Welcome.
Good evening, Mr. Sword. Is that how you greet your brother?
Where's my brother?
Oh, am I not family to you again? You're not my daughter?
We are, but right now I'm not happy the direction you guys are taking my country. So when we come here, we're going to draw that fine line. We're going to draw that demarcation.
But
after
yeah,
that,
yeah. Can I learn? Can I learn?
Go ahead.
You see, when you're talking screaming is not, the late city mayor of New York, David Dickey, the first black city mayor for New York. He said, "You don't have to be loud to be heard." So by you screaming here, it's not going to intimidate me. It's not going to make me afraid. So I'll be a soft-spoken guy, but my message will get across. But here's the thing: bear in mind, in the eyes of the law, everybody are suspects until we eliminate you. So, the former speaker or the current speaker, whether he go there for a hearing, the police had a right to call you to see where you are. Who are you? What do you know? Maybe he can be a witness to help us in an investigation, or probably he can be a suspect. So that's the thing. We ask you, based upon your information, we say, okay, we exclude you. Okay. You see, when you do an investigation, you don't do. Hold on, sir. You see, when you ask me my opinion, let me give it to you. You call me security analyst, you call me law enforcement. Give me the opinion. You don't have to. Okay, go ahead.
No, did I hear you saying?
Go ahead, sir.
Did I hear you saying in the eye of a what? Everybody should be a suspect. You said what was your something you said?
Eyes of the law.
Everybody.
On the eyes of the law. Yeah, suspect. Everybody's suspect. Suspect.
Everybody.
Especially when there's a crime, when somebody with everybody's a suspect. Okay. When it comes within the terrain or that area.
Yeah, you go. That is a qualification.
Where the investigation leave you? Yes. Yeah. Listen. Where the investigation. I
want you to quantify that everybody. Yeah, Moses, and I say Moses will be 100% in agreement. Now he's giving a signal, which is a 4 indications he agrees with you. Moses, let me ask you, do you agree with what Jerry Bacon said? Everybody.
Well, everybody within the confines of that area where the crime happened is a possible suspect. Okay. So no one excluded.
No one. So in this case, few people, certain were excluded, and other people, few people. That was not everybody in this case. Am I lying?
In what case are we talking about?
What case you agree with Jerry Bacon with?
Well, I'm speaking in general as far as the investigation is concerned. The particular case that you're talking about, I'm not sure if you're referring to the alleged arson. And I say alleged arson because we have not had any forensics, but we know that there's a possibility that arson happened at the Capitol.
Whoa.
If we're talking about that crime, because they have gathered some evidence that they said they had as far as the place being tossed up. So based on that, it's their allegation until people are found guilty. The charges are there. When they get charged, when they get found guilty, then you have quantified.
So, okay, you guys, you are an investigator here. On a serious note here, and both of you guys, that's your area here. I hope the Lpr doesn't even show out here. It will serve us a good purpose into my conversation. So, what you make of the team that just departed Liberia? Well, what you guys saying everybody, but in this case, from all indications in the preliminary to almost the conclusions, bringing in these experts, we do not really know. And this is what's sickening me, because our people, some of the guys, that they really do not ask the bone in the throat question. And when they see these guys, they feel intimidated, they overrun their questions and just leave the audience with a burden. And that's what can piss me off. So, what have you got? Considering all that is going here, Capitol buildings was in and out. It is quite interesting and amazing to see how GOL is conducting. In fact, more or less, people were adjudicated way, like you say, in the absence of forensic testing,
Let me speak to that.
especially. And now the police chief and there are 72 lawmakers. This thing just doesn't happen overnight. The police they were in charge of that building, not just on the police, the joint security. They were in charge of that building. There was a assigned commander. I assume with unlimited information because where you have group of men and women, military and paramilitary personnel, there must be a commander. Up to this point in time, we do not know. No one, the police has never in any of her briefings to ask any of the assigned officer at the Capitol during that incident whether there was some sort of correlation with any outside force that infiltrated the system. But like you, both of you said in your own words, everyone, this time around, very few. And few are those of the minority. And those who more or less in favor of the government, we have never seen anybody. So where is this? What sort of conclusion? What is the balance in this investigation?
Well, from my own perspective, here how I look at it, Mr. Soa, because of the ignorance and the lack of sophistication and logistical support for our Liberian National Police, it has taken a prolonged period of time for this investigation. Number one, I think that, and I just sent you a video, I think 2 days ago, of Yeke Koluba with his nuisance behavior. At one point, during the initial stage of the whole saga at the Capitol, stating to the police department that they were not allowed in the Capitol building. Only the security were allowed in the building. Yeke Koluba told them, we don't want any police. So this facade that in fact states that the police were in charge, and I think I said it here on the show before, police are not supposed to police government facilities. They are not trained to secure government facility. They are there to serve and protect, but they are not there trained to secure government facilities. And I think Jared and myself have said continuously, we need to hire a new branch, train them, who would be Capitol Police officer that would be there, okay, to secure all government facilities. Having said that, here's what I'm thinking. The group that just left Liberia, so-called fire people that went down there, I think they went down there and the Capitol building had already been polluted. It's been compromised. Since the incident happened, that place was never quarantined, secure that particular area. People are staying in and out of there. So for you to particularly leak somebody to it, it's going to be very, very difficult, which means that the case have already been tainted. Now, your possible suspect, based on some of the testimony of some witnesses, of some people of interest, would lead an unfit police department to start drawing some conclusions who their possible suspects are. And they need to narrow it down. There's a process of elimination. Like Jerry said, everyone within the confines of that area during the incident is a possible suspect. But then you start to narrow it down by questioning. Where were you? By trying to gather some alibis to support those people's assertion as to where they were when it happened, well, whether they have a link to it. And police can make those judgments based on the adequacy of training that they've received to do such investigation. So this thing has gone so far, and I'm not sure where it's leading them. But when you get a group of lawmakers who go there, when they got person of interest being questioned, and they create a saga and bring attention to themselves and say that they want to attend or they want to go in there to see. No, that's not how police does their work. And you know, all of this is blamed on the lack of training, the lack of capacity, and the lack of support for our police department to conduct their duties. So I will hold that for now until we go on. But I hope that, you see, you didn't ask what was on my mind today. There are a lot of things on my mind.
Yeah, it's coming. Don't worry about that. So I just try to, well, it's just a warm-up, even though we'll be up to
just a warm-up?
Okay.
But you got me a warm-up now.
That's just a warm-up. I try to shake this guy up so that he can be the Kolonko glue to have a true confession. So wait a minute.
So
we should have Solomon George advisor. Why are you
first block, part 1, part 2, part 3, part 4, part 5. John, we are Drew first block. Then we brought Rumble outside.
How you doing, Sensei? How
you doing?
What happened? You didn't tell why you did.
See what you did? You put all the loafer boy to the bottom. You see how you can be here.
You say what?
But Jerry, he's still our Dodi. We still got respect for them as our so
I say you put all the loafer into the bottom and see how you be here. That's what you see. See here.
So what you did to Zanzibar Kawas, Sissy? What is it?
They thought you stay funding away from the position. Look, man, I've been gone for a minute. How you doing? That man just tripping me. Bishop, how you doing? My brother Moses said, and Jerry.
Yeah, man. It's been a while, man.
Yeah, man.
Okay, you guys, good evening. This is All Things Considered. To Mr. Collins, good to have you here. Mr. Goyat, good to have you here. How are you?
I am good. I've been super busy with work. That's why, but I'm good. I'm good otherwise.
Yeah, plenty of money inside now. I thought you were already because somebody told me. I said, but I haven't seen anything from him. They said, oh, the man is down here. He's taking care of MCSS. So I don't know how.
Oh yeah, yeah. The new ANC. Yeah, we're trying to the other party, Benete Party, new ANC 2.0. We're trying to work on that.
So you finish with Koga now, you join to
CMC.
First block part 1 and 2.
CMC.
I saw that thing in the chat room. I laughed.
All right, guys, let's get to the good to have everybody. Yeah, today is Wednesday.
Okay.
In the traditions of Wednesday, let's get a ball rolling. Mr. Barcombe, I know I was just trying to give you some local Z to get you into the game. Not knowing you were calling for reinforcement from the Minnesota politicians and all of that. Solomon George advisor. I don't know. You remember all these things that all the title you giving yourself when you get to Liberia. You were the man that you and that man that were rocking. Okay, Jared.
I'll be the one man. Everybody will agree on opposition, imposition to be that one man. They all agree.
The man has been very strategic. He grabbing everybody. He had a good, a bad, ugly, everything. So anybody can rescue him. Okay, let's get to it quickly here. Let's get your news beat, your headlines. What is high on your agenda, Mr. Barcombe?
Yeah, like I said from the beginning, the Supreme Court, to keep our eyes on it. Let's see what they're going to do on the 15th. I believe it's on the 15th. The bit of information to see where we're going to go and how soon they will come down with a decision. I know they call for hearing and see where we are. And let's get over with this and let the brain pool move forward. Let the thing get over our head. Let's move forward.
Okay, good. So we're going to come back to the details. Mr. Segway, Mose, what's on your plate?
Well, what's on my plate? A whole lot on my plate. First of all, I want to commend you, the board of directors, and for the services you guys render, the opportunity for us to come here and speak on such a program, give people our perspectives, individual perspectives, in the best way we know how. And we, I can't thank you all. People who are responsible for what is happening. with the Liberian Public Radio, and especially some of the things that you guys cover in Liberia. Your folks in Liberia are doing amazingly great job. And so I look out to public radio most of the time for the fairness of broadcast and the incidents that are happening there. One of the things that I want to strongly propose, I think I talked about it the other day, is that hopefully the show can begin to consider the fact that when we have all these insert in what's on our mind and what have you, we should be given some time to conclude and say, listen, if we had the opportunity, this would be our proposal. And hopefully we can go back and start jotting these things and looking at it. But to talk about all of these things, the ills of Liberia, and not come up with some solutions or some recommendation or some suggestion at the end of the show and just leave it blank, I think is unfair to our people. And I think as people coming in here, if we think that we're expert in certain areas, not in all areas, we need to come up with some kind of suggestion and say, listen, this incident, if they had taken it this way, then maybe we can, this would be useful for the country. So that at least people can, can say, oh yeah, these guys are good heads. There's a lot of things. I mean, I'm more concerned with the public safety in Liberia. And there's a whole lot of things happening. Police have PT in the street. I think in the video with the bikers, the incident with the bikers going to the U.S. Embassy to give them position statement, that the embassy is just sitting down there for everybody to go jail and something, and they're supposed to take action when your domestic issue is not a U.S. issue.
Let's hold it there. Okay.
Why are you running to the embassy to go get petition to who for what?
Okay, you will tell us.
Mr.
Collins.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
I say Jerry is happening.
Oh my God!
Brother Sissy and Mr. Moses, everybody, the Liberal, and to you, Mr. Bacon, and the host himself, Mr. Moses. However, my concern is June 2. Something I watched a movie on Netflix they call 0 Day. I advise that all security people, politicians need to watch it. But there is something specifically I took from that movie, and I think that is a mentality of politicians. When the president met the former president that was handling the case concerning a cyber attack on the United States in the movie, and the guy was about to get a report. And the president, because his daughter was implicated in the report, but the president tried to tell him to conceal the truth. So the president used a particular phrase, and she said, govern the country as it is, not as we wish it to be. And I think that it's called a movie 0 Day. It's on Netflix. I think that is how politicians think. All right. And my attention was drawn to Honorable Kofa today when he spoke, and he trashed the report from those guys, those expertise. All right. When the journalist asked him, and the report did not implicate him, the report had nothing to do with him. But automatically, he didn't look at the report. LMP had not given their position on the report. He went ahead and concluded that the report is not correct. Where did he get the information from, firstly, concerning the report?
Terry, just give your let's spin through the room. Okay. I'm quite sure that's your program. But why you didn't say politicians and other people, you didn't tell whatever religion people should pastor them watch a movie?
You see,
when I come here, you're trying to mess.
Don't worry, the Pope, what? The
Pope I got some video I can share with you, Bishop, if you want for some of your pastor video there.
No, man, I want it. And I see plenty.
Me pastor, if you watch me a movie, man, teacher, yeah, so we can come on. Okay, Mr. Nambe, welcome. Mr. Goya, let's hear you, and I'll go
Yes,
to
sir. Good to be here.
Professor Nambe, how you doing? And
Hey.
my own part of the Libra, it's been a minute. I think I've been gone for a while, so I will cede to what's on the plate of the people that have been holding the network for a while. But I'm just particularly concerned about how easy it is to start political parties, and there has to be a problem. And it is just as easy. I said there are three things so easy to establish in Liberia: political parties, churches, and schools.
Yep.
Political parties and churches, you just need 3 members, and you can be the resident bishop, and you can call yourself international. And political party, to be a political leader, you need 4 people. Maybe you got 2 wives and 2 outside children, and you're all right. You can be political leader. That is a sad commentary on our nation. For me, that is really bothersome to me.
Okay. No. The conversation, as far as I'm concerned, Dave Victor Nambe has been very peaceful.
Oh, and I'm saying one last thing. Today is Lent as a Catholic.
Oh yeah.
It's Ash Wednesday. And
Wednesday.
I hope somebody who has scripted the actions from Funati Face to see if they came from the Capitol building to check it.
You are Catholic? You? Oh.
But where is your own arches? I don't see it.
No, don't worry about it.
But we'll let Funati
I said it from the beginning of the show. I said all the Catholic brothers and sisters, and you trash me out.
So everybody is so coordinated and everything moving fine here. But there's one person that cannot put my life on the line. And I hope you hire Tabata or whatever in the last 2-3 days. That should be enough. Tonight,
Is that a straight warning?
What?
Is there a warning?
Who the cat fits, let them worry. The liberal, let me hear you.
Do I look like somebody eating for you to ask what on my plate? Do you see any plate here? You talk about what on my plate? Do I look like somebody eating? I'm going to show you what on my plate. What do you mean what on my plate? All that year, all that money we spent, Liberian government give you scholarship. You got a degree in journalism. You're going to ask me what on my plate? That plate
Let me go to.
No, hold on.
Yeah, no, I'm taking my blessing.
Hold on. I don't have time.
Finish.
Hold on.
Mr. So, you gotta let me finish my statement.
No, listen.
You gotta listen. You gotta let me finish my statement.
No, listen to me. When you run your program, you run it the way you want to.
Yeah, but I don't shut people down. Let me finish my
doesn't
statement.
matter. That's my own attorney.
Okay, then and now that you are a dictator on the platform. Then
that's what Zelensky made it start now. People calling him
yeah. So the point I'm gonna make, and I will yield to anybody. I don't have anything on my plate. I'm here as a counterweight to all the ridiculous statement coming out of the pastor tonight. No friendship business. I am here for the truth. Anybody, my own son says you bring up that friendship business. No, my own co-host tonight. We're on a neutral ground.
What a wounded soul! What a wounded soul! So
I tweeted about
You were not on the show last night, and news was broken here. I have heard of a hostile takeover, but I've never heard of
that's what I'm like this tonight.
Of a hostile sale, and the butcher here last night announced to the world that there's going to be a hostile sale of. And I want you to ask him. He's getting ready.
Oh, really?
The first thing is the board chair said he want nobody on the show because of his show today. I'll come and get on.
Oh, that one he said yesterday?
That's what he said. He's right here.
He said nobody
Jerry was on. They're my witnesses, and the whole world was listening.
You know what? They say Mahmoud will die. He can't hear a waste of time. That man, when he comes on, He don't send no link to his co-host. He will come to me, but yet and say he's still hanging away. So that one there, when the time came, they were talking
the
judgment.
Liberal war Australia yesterday. They but not come.
So, but listen, I listen to
I don't want to go to distract me this evening.
Let's get
my job is done. I've already distracted you. You come here, come to ask questions about my government. All kind of question. I finished. The platform is mine tonight. I'm done.
Another hostile takeover. Another hostile takeover.
We'll talk about that. Sese just told you it's easy to form political party in Liberia. The hostile takeover, they form a political party specifically for LPR, but we're here to defend ourselves.
Anyway, look, see you. It is happy Ash Wednesday to you all, my brothers. It's good to be here on the show. Thanks for the opportunity to be here. Let me push back on my mathematician brother, my professor of math in Minnesota. It took us over 40 years to be able to just get up and organize a party, multi-party democracy. This is something blood, tears, everything was shed in Liberia. I think it's a good day if anybody can get up and organize a party. Now, as to streamlining, yes, instead of multi-party, there is a multiplicity. That is correct. But that cannot be a bad thing. Is the democracy? Yes, I think measures should be put in place to streamline, and I think they're doing that. For instance, I think there's a provision now, if you're showing in the elections prior, you don't hit a certain target, you cannot compete. You got to sit out that one. That is good. If you don't have $10,000 in your bank around September every year, there is an inspection by NEC. If you're not, so there are measures in place. But I think anybody should be free to organize their own party, as in Musa Ability and the concern. What is it? CMC concern movement. What is it called? That
it's coming on. It's called ANC 2.0.
ANC 2.0. So, quite frankly, I think it should go. Of course, there are concerns. Where will Musa be drawing his membership from? And I think some of his membership could come from the ANC, because I think that he, Cummings, and the rest of them, this going election, they were eating from the same bowl. So there may be some little bit of concerns there. But it's the democracy. I think everybody should go out there and market their ideas. Who knows? Maybe through this process, we could actually get someone out who would do better for our country than we've had over this past several years.
Okay. All right. We are here up to 10 p.m. precisely. So when you're Tabata, when I call your attention, you please. Okay, let's have the conversation here. What a great point. Everybody outlined, and I think we can get into those pieces and see, how far we can end, how far we can go with this conversation. Mr. Bacon, what is the significance of this decision? It must sound insane with respect to we're going to be coming out of the Supreme Court. Why your decision?
Why the Supreme Court is because we as a Liberian, that's a large boss style to be able to make the final decision of our country. And it is important that we all listen to the Supreme Court. Even though we will not agree with the Supreme Court or what decision she's going to make, but when the Supreme Court is spoken, then that's it. We can't go nowhere again, except where you found another petition. You can find another petition to the Supreme Court because of certain reason. You can do that. But once the Supreme Court says, look, here is the case, and we make that decision, that's where we are. That's why we select the people to be our best out of the best to be on the Supreme Court bench. And hopefully, we will find resolution within the next few weeks and see where we are with the speakership and the rest of the NAYA. And I hope we'll expedite it so Liberian will come to herself and see what we move on with the government. Let the government be able to be functional. because every day we got a minority, majority black. Like I said, it's an important something in our country. But hold on, we've never had it before, so it's an experience. It's a learning process.
Okay, we're going to be spending quick minutes here. Anybody here apprehensive or anyone can forecast what the Supreme Court perhaps going to come down with?
Well, it is that the Supreme Court interprets the law. Absence of any law within our Constitution, the Supreme Court cannot. So I am here waiting to see what the Supreme Court comes with, because I don't know what part of the law they'll be interpreting when it comes to the saga of the Capitol building. And that's what I'm anxious to wait and see. Because the Supreme Court is an equal branch of the legislative branch and the executive. So for them to make, I want to see what they're coming up with.
I thought to sense out something quickly here, maybe heading before my shadow. Are you saying their action will be belated? They should have done that in the past? When
No. What I'm saying is they only operate in the confines of the law, interpreting the law to say where the law was blatantly violated or not violated, and put people on course. But if you don't have a law that deals with the saga today at the Capitol, and it's been dragging forever, then I don't know what the Supreme Court's going to come up with. If they're looking for the Supreme Court to create a law and to of the Capitol, then it's not a democracy. It's not an equal form.
All right. So
that's what
Mr.
I'm saying.
Your thoughts on the Supreme Court? I think this is something Jared dished out for us this evening.
So, Mr. So, very quickly here.
I'm going to go out and come back. I think my internet is acting up.
Okay. So, very quickly here, I also want to just say, someone who has been involved for so long, I think the idea of whoever has the money and have the ability to form a political party in Liberia, if you want to have 500 political party in Liberia, let it be. That's one of in the struggle of all of the progressive struggle. One of the main reasons of all of the struggle, not for money, many of them, but it was to people to have one man, one vote. To have as political party ability for a political party in Liberia to be formed without any kinds of reservation, because the people used to vote, for example, Totman election, you can go in that booth 15, 20, 30 times with different name, one person. I voted when I was like maybe 6, 7 years old, voted so many times because I remember that they would hold my hand, go in there, giving names that I will not pronounce on the show. So for us to have the ability now to have this capacity in amount of people who want to form a political party, you can have as many political parties as you want. But the main idea is one man, one vote. You cannot have Samson Toe voting for one president 17, 18 times. Those days are over. So I think we should welcome those kinds of stuff. Now we have the ability, and we must scrutinize those who's going to be leading us. We must scrutinize those who are coming in and forming political party so that our brothers and sisters do not get so much confused in the process. But the idea of forming a political party alone, I think we should embrace it, and we should praise it. And one last thing, when I come on my show, when I open my mouth, I have the ability to tell you say that liquor talk. Now wait, what I said last night that liquor talk. You can't hold me to that. Why, Mr. So?
He confessing.
On the issue of the political parties, can I say something? Because I think the neo-progressive and the old school progressives and people who did not understand what it meant to be a progressive that were advocating, agitating, I think they're here defending their position. This is not about how many people went to T-shirt and son and took chocolate from their drink April 14 riot. That's not what I'm talking about. You can have a democracy where votes are counted, where one person, one vote, without having a multiplicity of political parties that duplicate other political parties. That is the point I'm saying. In America, we got one person, one man, one vote. We don't have 500 political parties. In Britain, you have one man, one vote. We don't have 500 political parties. The problem with Liberia is we see people think we know how to spy. We can only spy on page 1. We can't wait to the end of the book. So we spy democracy, and we carry it and we take it to a whole different extreme. It's the same thing where we spy the people flare. We take it to a whole different extreme. We do everything. We just spy page 1. My point I'm making here is that what is the difference? Political ideology. Put somebody called channelability, since he's the newest in the game. What is the political ideology that is different in the CMC than the Liberty Party that he left, or than the ANC that he was with? Or by extension, what are the political ideology that are different between the NPP and the CDC or the NDPL and Lino? There is none, except for somebody wants to be in charge. The same reason why in Brooklyn Park, for example, you have 3 people calling themselves a church is because somebody want to be in charge of the offering plate. Who the coalition pastor? That is all it's about. It is not about a variation in ideology. And that is the point I'm making. I'm not saying that people should not have a right to have one man, one vote. I'm saying that just because somebody gets vetted, we become political leader, they go open up, they go start a political party. That is an abuse of the order. And I don't even think that people who stood in line to advocate for multi-party democracy will be happy with all of that today that's happening.
Okay. That's the beauty of this network.
Yes.
I come in. Let me come to, hold on, Mr. Most. I think Terry and Terry have not spoken, right? Terry and Victor. Who wants to come first?
They changed them.
Okay. Terry, if you don't mind.
Go ahead, Mr. Numbers.
Thank you very much. So I don't agree with Cesar. I think he's right. Multiplicity of parties is bad. So, but multi-party democracy, I think that's what we're aiming for. I agree with him on that. But except that I have to correct him. Ability has never been a member of ANC. Ability was a member of the CPP. The CPP was ANC and the Liberty Party.
I said Liberty Party first. You listen to that part. I said Liberty Party first.
Okay. All right. So now that he resigned from the Liberty Party because the Liberty Party split between he and Kanga Lawrence, I believe he needed a party to call it home. Yeah, did he have to register another party? Maybe not, but that's his choice. It's a democracy. I can't fault him for that. But I want to speak briefly to what we expect coming out of the Supreme Court. Look, throughout this crisis, if you follow the Supreme Court's actions, I think it's very clear where they're going. From the decision that declared both sides, first of all, they ordered the both parties to return to status quo ante, go back where Kofa was the speaker. That was the first pronouncement. Then they went to court and said that both sides, whatever they did outside the law is illegal. Again, go back to where you were. And then they got up. The president's message, they refused to go because the president was entertaining an illegitimate speaker. They did not go. Then basically got up and went to NIMBA and said, you know what? This is why we didn't go. We clarified further. And now we're reading the citation for March 14, referring to Kuhn as the purported, the alleged speaker. I think it's very clear where the Supreme Court is going. So we can't wait to hear what comes out of March 14. I can't see any other interpretation out of this. I think they're going to confirm the right that the guys should go back and you use the Constitution if they want to remove Kofa, but do it constitutionally. Until they do that, Kofa is still the speaker.
So I think the Liberal choose the topic here, and I haven't spoken to the Supreme Court, so when you don't want to come here on there because I think my brother here is way wrong off
so this. Quickly here, before I go to Terry, because Terry too have not. So do you, in your understanding, you get a clarity in your opinion to the Supreme Court now, Mr. Namwe? Is that what you're saying, or what?
We can only conjecture because we haven't read what the Supreme Court decision is. But again, what they say about your past, right, and an indication of your future performance throughout the duration of this case, the conduct of the Supreme Court has been to affirm the rule of law. to affirm the rule of law. And the rule of law says if you want to remove your speaker, go in the assembly, proffer a resolution, take a vote, give him due process, and remove him. Nobody is saying Kofa should be speaker forever, but if you want to do it, do it legitimately.
All right, guys, let's do it one at a time. I want to come to you, Sissy, but let me bring Terry. He has done spoken. Terry. So this is a sort of, it will be quite interesting. Do you think, and you can just add in a little layer to it, do you think if the Supreme Court had not been decisive, precise, using all of these Latin words, antiviral, and blah, 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 do you think it has reached the boiling point where the Supreme Court would now more or less and say, hey, this is black, this is white? Are we going to see them coming to that point?
I still doubt that will happen. I think this is commentary after the news. I think, in my opinion, the Supreme Court will not compel another branch of government to do what they have the power to do in their own capacity, as the way they said it from the initial stage. The Supreme Court role is just to interpret to them what the law says. People running around purported. I really think that the Supreme Court was quoting the petitioner's petition from the Bill of Information. I don't think the Supreme Court on her own self is recognizing Rachel Kuhn in that manner. I don't think so. I could be wrong. I'm not a lawyer and all of that. So we just got to wait to see what it goes. But I doubt that the Supreme Court is going to say that our ruling, blah, 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 say Rachel Kuhn is not speaker and Fonati Kofa is speaker. I don't think Supreme Court going to interpret like that. In my opinion, I think Supreme Court will say that this is what we said, but we said to you guys so that you guys should handle your own affairs because you guys are separate branch of government. Supreme Court will not try to create confusion when there is already a confusion in the country. And also, I want to say to my senior brother, Sissy, that where you getting mistaken on church issue, or two or three persons can establish a church. According to Christ, he said, where 2 or 3 are gathered in my name, they are in the midst to perform their request. So, so I agree that there are multiplicity of church folks who use the power to exploit people. No, you got a point there, because there are multiplicity, even in Liberia, we're one of those that speak against these things. Multiplicity of people that jump in areas and establish church and extort money from people with that philosophy, which is bad. That is not the essence of the gospel. But yeah, it's true. 3 persons can establish church. Thank you.
Okay. Susie?
I would not agree with the resident bishop. I will leave that one there.
But now I'll be bishop you. Go and give me out of that.
Look, I just want to be fair here. I'm not against, chances are you might want 2 or 3 days from now, might see me as the senior political advisor to CMC. You never know. I'm just saying that this thing is just too much. There's a way for us to coalesce where we agree, where our ideologies collide. Agree we should come together. But on the issue of the Supreme Court, I think for my brother to come here and try to play with words, I think that is the problem that they faced. And when they ill-advised Fonati. Look, even if let's give and say the Supreme Court came out with the word purported, what does that mean? If somebody is going to court and they are fighting for a position, and I'm supposed to be the judge, I'm not going to say the speaker. I'm not going to say that. The purported means that someone who's claiming or alleged to be the speaker. I'm going to judge a case, so I can't come and say, "Oh, Speaker Kuhn," and far beyond. If you go back and read the petition, it was in the petition that they said the purported Speaker Kuhn. So for us to come here and try to do this, just the same thing they try to do with the word incendiary. And ran around all around the place. I posted on Facebook and said there's a lot of people got supercomputers at their fingertips. These things are supercomputers. Just use them. Just use them. Look, let me tell you this. The Supreme Court ruled. People got mad. and say the Supreme Court might interpret the ruling after they all read around ultra-virus. And I guess the virus now affect a lot of people, no more vaccination for it. So they're going back to the Supreme Court now for another interpretation, for the Supreme Court to interpret its own ruling. I'll tell you this, and I will bet any money on it. We're going to come back from there. There will be another Latin terminology that we'll all argue about. The Supreme Court is not going to install a speaker in the House of Representatives. That's not going to happen. This thing is dead, is dead, is dead. This is like you getting drowned and you just holding on to straws. This is what's happening. They will go to the Supreme Court and nothing is going to come out of it. And we said this thing here, that this was a political thing. Folks who were advancing Fonati sadly did not see that. They did not have a strategy. They went around saying, we'll go to Ghana. They got 2 invitations. There was the invitation for Fonati. They just to go there for Port and call you speaker, just to make you seem to come back.
Correct.
They have to stop this. Now,
but I don't think that has been the object, though. I don't think the Supreme Court, I think the object has never been for the Supreme Court to install a speaker. They can't do that. They don't have the power to do that. That's not the object.
The problem here is that you're going to come back from the Supreme Court with the exact same ruling. Nothing is going to change.
Nothing.
So then, let's expand on this here a little bit here. Then where are we as a people, as a nation, when there's a constitutional issue? Ultimately, the Supreme Court is the one to determine the directions of the country in terms of the interpretations of the law constitutionally. Now, are we not reached that point? Is that what, like I'm hearing say, or are we going to come maybe from Latin, now we're going to come to another Greek word, and everybody going to be going nuts, crazy?
I hope they use Pele this time. I hope they come up with a Pele terminology that we can be fighting with instead of Latin this time.
No, me, I want to come with the I come with on the table. Yeah, no, on a serious note. So so then at what point in time
why should we depend on the Supreme Court to do just that? There's an equal form of government. They have in the rules, the process to determine who needs them. They need to go back to their rules. The Supreme Court said that before. It's not
are they going back?
It's precisely limited to the legislator choosing their speaker, their leader. Not telling you how to do that. You describe it in your rules.
No, but what necessitates this?
Hold on one second. The fact of the matter is that these are equal branches of government. The Supreme Court has no jurisdiction on telling them what to do if it doesn't violate the Constitution. They are interpreting the Constitution.
Okay, Mose. Then let me ask you.
Already said, and we said that from the beginning.
So let me ask you: Do you think the functionaries of government is complete without one?
No, it's not. That's why the problem is. We need to look at democracy in a holistic approach, and this whole idea of saying that the executive is dictating to the legislator on what to do or have influence. These are ignorant. People now don't even know the function of citizens in that country. They don't know the functions of government because we took civics from Liberian schools out of the classrooms. So a lot of the young people growing up don't understand the function of these 3 branches of government, and people are using them. That's why I come to the political party.
Okay, let's put it to a rest so that we have the opportunity to speak.
See, let me just quickly.
I want to say something.
Tag on. Let me tag on this.
About
the
parties, the political party as well, if I could.
Yeah, go ahead.
So let me say this. Look, if you remember back, I believe in November, the president of the Republic of Liberia was getting ready to submit his budget to the legislature. Do you understand me? Then he asked for an extension. He wrote to Kofa asking for an extension. When the extension expired, then he wrote indicating that he was going to consult his legal advisors. Then the justice minister got up and gave an interpretation of the Supreme Court's ruling, which then the government used as a reliance to submit the budget to Reggie Kuhn. This is
many things that happen between that. There's a lot of things.
I'm just summarizing.
A lot of things.
I am just summarizing here, brother. So
Guys,
now,
can we do it one at a time, please?
right. So now the Justice Minister, the Honorable Justice Minister, got up and gave an interpretation of the Supreme Court's ruling. On that basis, we have an $880 million budget already in motion. The budget was passed under a process that is illegitimate because Richard Coon presided over this process and the budget is already in motion. Now, the Supreme Court had already indicated that the both sides, whatever they're doing, the majority it has the majority, but it doesn't have a speaker. The speaker is legal, but he doesn't have the majority. Both sides, whatever they do is illegal.
Professor Langwe, can I ask you a question real quick?
And this is let me just Prof, I'm still in flight.
Prof,
all right.
the budget is illegal.
All right.
The budget is illegal. Is COFA accepting his pay under this budget? The illegal budget, is COFA accepting his pay under that illegal budget? Is the Supreme Court accepting their pay under the illegal budget?
Okay, there are too many people talking at once, so whether COFA is accepting his pay under the budget,
accepting his pay as representative under the illegal budget.
I believe he is, but that is immaterial.
Is the Supreme Court accepting the pay as under the illegal budget?
I don't know, but I believe they do. I don't know.
Right.
But even if they do, that is immaterial. I don't think that is what it is. I don't think that is what is the issue here.
So the aiding and abetting illegality, say it's immaterial to aid and abet illegality, and you say it's immaterial?
Are you done?
Okay.
Okay.
We'll wait and see. Let's move. We're going to be strictly on time here tonight. Let's see and get everybody. Who brought this Supreme Court? So, Mr. Bacon here, in 30 seconds, what's your takeaway here? Do you get the answers?
You allow everybody else to talk for 20 days. You say Bacon 30 seconds. That me and Bacon, will you put all in the background here tonight? They say, Jared, go away. 30 seconds. We'll enjoy ourselves tomorrow. Don't worry.
Thank you, Mr. So. But here's the thing, though. Look, like I said from the beginning, let's watch and see what the Supreme Court going to say, because it is a final decision body of the law in our country. Even though we have 3 branches of government, we've got judiciary, we've got a legislature, but the Supreme Court, they will run, will have issues to identify where the problem is. So let's wait and see. That's my position.
Wait and see.
Mr. So, let me add my 1 or 2 cents on this here. This is what I suspect will happen. Most likely the Supreme Court will say, I told you, we've sat here and gave you the same information. They're probably going to come and repeat themselves. They're not going to come and say, COFA, you're supposed to be. Now, the funny thing here and the interesting one is this, from my perspective. Once that's happening, they are now announcing to the world again that the speakership itself is illegal, because they need to go back. When they say you need your antivirus or something that is not correct, you need to go back. Now, these people, the legislature say, look, we did a thing to snow, let's move on. The Supreme Court rule, so what? But here's the interesting thing now. The executive that's supposed to be the big boys in the room, they will now follow the illegal speaker. And this is where things gonna get interesting, because Liberians will now remember that the executive, Honorable Joseph Bakai, is now following an illegal process. Besides, let's set that one side, Mr. So.
Point of inquiry, Mr. So. Inquiry.
Yeah, let he just finish over. Yeah, let him finish right. You see, I love to see this kind of thing happening within the rank and file of these liberals and his ally. Go ahead.
This is the good thing about us. We don't agree on everything we say, unlike you and your people.
Rescue
you don't say what happened. So let me speak.
Rescue 1 and rescue 2.
Exactly. Thank you. But let me speak. Negative 1%. Let me speak on the number line.
Let's go with the ass offering.
Yeah. But with that suffering, he's working at the UN now.
I am going to.
Okay, hold on.
I tell you, I'm not here for your stuff tonight.
Okay, but let me say this. Let me say this. The interesting thing is this. This whole saga is giving CDC a platform. Flantikofa, that I support, came out. Flantikofa does the exam, the Liberian bar exam, came out and made a statement on a paper that he has not had the ability to read, and he's giving conclusion. As a real lawyer, Kofa through that law business aside today and got in CDC suit. He now start the process. Sedition. I'm now going to look at it. What is Supreme Court going to say? When I go, he's going to say we told you, and they will run with it. That is the only good thing here about the whole thing, because CDC is going to have a talking point. But as far as what's it, Kun is concerned, Kun will be president for one. I mean, speaker for 1 year, and he would be removed. Just the same thing that they were from the cover. Thank you very much.
Okay. Well, Tara, you were coming
Inquiry. Yeah. Inquiry. So I wanted to ask, what if, let's agree for the sake of the discussion that the Supreme Court rule in favor of Fonati Kofa and he get reinstated. Does this mean that every bill that was passed and the budget that was sent to everybody eating the money is illegal?
And because of that, what you suggesting, because of that, just because of the money business, they won't happen. Francis Kofa himself, even if you were to be asked to come be speaker, you will say no.
That's what we see is commentary after the news, because Supreme Court herself is indicted. Everybody, so with the or how you call it, because that means that the Senate have to say, okay, since the Supreme Court have ruled in this manner, we do not recognize Richard Kun. So that means everything Richard Kun did was illegal. So where are we starting from? Where are we going? So on the basis of it, that why I wanted to, for Mr. Nangbe.
That is the reason I always ask about that budget, because that is a law. The budget is a law. And that's the reason I always ask about it.
Yeah, the budget is not law. The current budget is not law.
If it is not law, but your other point is
not
execution of it.
The question you raised.
Let's move on to the next. Let's move on to the next talking point. That was Jerry first, and the Liberal. What was the talking point?
Well, on a very serious note, my talking point tonight have to do.
They have it on the plate.
You get
something? He said talking about not bring play business again. I want no confusion tonight. I want smooth. I know the man. He getting ready to start. So please, I don't want no play business. He said talking point. You know exactly. So you want us to be friends. So talking point.
I'm not asking for friendship from you.
Okay.
I'm not.
Okay. But we're sticking with talking point. We're not talking plate. But y'all talk. That man knocked me out of my train of thought. Y'all talk. Go ahead. Go to other person.
The political revenue.
Oh yeah, my talking point has to do with the Honorable Kofa going ahead and condemning the report that came out with all even assessing it, or with all listening to the police formal report coming out from the police station, instead of single-handedly accepting the report from another network that have not been verified. So I thought that was a premature move by him. It also again put him in a compromised position as a lawyer. I think that position from his statements today was not a clever move. Because you everybody running with Spoon TV report. What if that is not a report? The police are not given a report. The government a report,
and that's the danger. And most of you do it. Sometimes you code it, and this is where we really got to be careful. And it's putting Liberia on a very dangerous path. That's what happens when politicians get hold of a major news outlet. Everything comes out of that network. People will believe it. It will not be verified. Nobody going to check it, and it's troubling. I'm not sure what GOA are going to do anything about that, because those are the same people that are most likely sharing these informations and all of that. And somebody just come and just throw it out there. Of course, you always see leaks, but it has become a routine thing. Every little thing, it goes to this network. But I would prefer getting these sort of information from print media and stuff like that. But again, that's the situation. And you're quite correct, because I don't know. That's what happens to when people decide to hold news that shouldn't even be that way. When GOL said that they were being a press conference, and that's where the disappointment comes in, to be honest. Gregor Como is just the police chief, yes, but what happens in the emergency? If he was to go and there's incident where somebody, they have deputies, I believe more than 3, 4, 5 deputies or whatever, and there are other people. So I think somebody who have stepped in, who are being the Minister of Information, the Minister of Justice, or whoever spokesperson or whatever, to speak, but to just leave it like that and allow people to just scramble over it without getting an official something and then breaking that, like you rightfully said. But anyway, let's make a progress here. So, what?
Yeah, and Honorable Kofa, Kofa did make. I mean, quick follow up. He did make some revealing statements that was concerning. He said there was a lawmaker on the grounds the night before. I think the night before the Capitol got burned, but our lawmaker was never called in. I think he was referring to a majority black lawmaker. And he also made mention of the 2 chairs, that got burned, that did not get burned, that were taken out of the place. But he said there was a lawmaker on the grounds of the Capitol that were not called in. So my thing is, how did he know all this? How did he know all this? And what really went on when he went in there? What was ready? Because you see, one of the things we're not getting here, the reason why the police is calling these people in one by one, maybe Mr. Barcom, Mr. Sigbe can help me on this, is because their statements will be recorded. Their statements will be corroborated. And, they're not understanding that those statements will be replayed. And if they are mistaken, when they cross-examine and the statements are not lining up with every one of them, because, like, for example, if Safuko said, I was with Fonati Kofa on the 18th, were in the car on at 12. Then Fonati Kofa came, yeah. Where was Safuko when so and so? Oh, I didn't see him. I didn't know where he was. That alone can establish doubt. So security people, that's why they're calling them one by one. They're going to corroborate all the information and they're going to derive to answers that will lead to something. So all the Tabata they're doing, the police the other thing, we're waiting to see.
So, you see, unfortunately, you are the one that questions and blowing this.
You see again, you will be tired of the pastor thing around my neck.
No, I said, Pastor, I said you are the one that blowing the tabata in your own understanding, in your own interpretation. Well, I didn't listen. I didn't listen to Kofa, but what I can say, Kofa is a lawyer. I mean, he's not just gonna go out there and throw in any reckless statement, because there are a lot of
reckless statement today. He did.
Well, I mean, that's your view. Look, when you are at a certain point in life, you have to fight. Whether it is being perceived wrongly, because if I'm not listening to it, but just quoting from what you are saying, so there are much more needed to talk about, and perhaps those issues have not been discussed. But since these statements come into now, you say why he made that statement. Okay, people came and had a conversation. Why they didn't call multiple people to say, okay, we need to talk to these people? They have not even come also to tell us in public. Instead, we saw this here, and they're calling him, if not a second, maybe that's the 3rd time. Of course, one could see himself, well, I've been seen as a prime tiger here. So you have to put on a fighting garment for his life, for his career, because if you people want to indict you, and you just say,
I'm not part of them.
What?
Don't say you people.
Mr.
I'm not
I'm
part
saying
of
with people because more or less now, the case is just between one group of people. When there are other people that people feel that they are part of, they were in that building. If not even seeing that they also work in that building. And so why, if this one group of people being the group to be investigators to be talking to them, then of course they will have all they will come out to say. But again, we'll wait and see what happens.
So,
Mhm.
let me just say a few words to that. Initially, when we started this conversation, as Jerry said, that everyone within the confine of that area is a possible suspect. Remember, on this very show, we talked about the first person of interest meeting that was held at the police headquarters. Who was there? Focal. They called Focal based on a 6-month-old Facebook talk about burning the Capitol. Who accompanied him to that first meeting? He and Fanati Kofa walked out together. That was not supposed to happen. And as Colin said, Terry said correctly, they want to see consistency in your stories. So they will ask you the same question multiple times to determine. And that's what they say in the court of law. If you tell the truth, you don't have to think and you don't have to lie. If you tell the truth, you don't have to think about it. The truth is the truth. But if you tell a lie, you start thinking, they ask you the same question, you start thinking of what was that story you told the first time? And you may have forgotten it because you told the story. And that's some of the tactics that police use. And they will ask the same question multiple times to see the consistency of the story. And I think this is what happened. But for Nati to get up and make those comments today, I can tell you he shooting himself in the foot. And we know from the security and investigation aspect that he's digging himself a bigger hole. And I don't know why there's certain people that just set to protect what's happening in our country. And I'll come to Brother Langwe real quick when we talk about the budget passing and all that stuff. The budget would not pass without the majority. The budget passes under the majority. Who had the majority to pass the budget? Did majority of the legislator sign the budget, voted for the budget? Those are the questions to be asked. If the majority voted, it doesn't matter what leadership.
Okay, let's open the line here quickly. Hello, caller, are you there? Can you talk?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, let's hear you quickly before I go back to the live field.
Yeah, I just want to talk on a few things. Hi, gentlemen. How's everything? Great show tonight. So I was listening to my brother, and I agree with Sister about the multi-party craziness that going in our country. Instead of people just forming any kind of party, just imagine this one election will have a 24. Then now we got CNC coming after it, and these parties are not there to put a significant number. But they are there to share power. And if you have an ambition to become a leader, why don't you join one of the biggest parties in the country and rise up to the occasion or climb the ladder and become the standard bearer of that party instead of having the proliferation of political party that is meaningless to the process and create even more conflicting situation during the election period. And I think we should start developing institutions now instead of party, because at the end of the day, if we just have little parties here and there, I mean, our election will be chaotic. It will be really chaotic. So at least we have 2 or 3, let's say 4 political parties, major political parties in the country. That other individual who want to aspire to be president can go through those parties and strengthen them to make them a better institution. Secondly, I listened to the security aspect and most of it, right? And it's so disheartening to hear somebody who have that expertise in security will come and say the kind of thing. The first suspect in any crime is the person that close to the crime, not somebody that made a statement 10 years ago. Who are close to the crime? The security people that were minding the capital building at the time. Those are the people you talk to first. Those are the people you call. Where were they when somebody went in there and set the place on fire? Those are the people you talk to before you start now picking other people that made statements 10 years ago. All right, political made a point, and everybody been saying. Even Koka said he was at the Capitol building the night before the fire. He was one of the last lawmaker to leave the Capitol building the night before the fire. And the secondly, the night before the fire, the place even the so-called expert on the fire that did a recent test, they said where the fire started, where the chairs of the speaker and the deputy speaker were. The chair was taken out of there. Y'all forget to know that James Collette said they removed the chair the day before the fire. Why did they move the chair the day before the fire? Is it not raising eyebrow as a political, as a security expert on this panel?
All right, we're gonna
thank you, Mr. So.
Yeah, but before you go, that is just so ridiculous to throw other parties that your CDC, and there were other parties around. Why CDC came to say to one be, you know, this is absurd.
The man scared. They're taking people. They're taking people from there. That's all it is.
So why don't you? Okay. No, listen. Hold on. And so, do you? Is it impossible that the other people too they can become a bigger party?
So in trouble. So the man
Civil war. Right now, was the heat of civil war. We had no political institution that were really functioning properly, right? So CDC organized. And it came a formidable party in the country to day-to-day.
And what happens when the government?
In 2004, CDC has always won the first round in election in Liberia. The number never really decreased.
So
I'm just saying that let us learn to build institutions.
The CDC build institutions.
Because every time they get Harry going to be one senator somewhere, and if they get their money, they won't be president like Liberia.
So, Keter, the institutions you are calling for, was that institution structure built by CDC?
Say that again?
Okay, now you start telling that man now.
No, say that again.
I'm asking the institution that you are calling for now, the CDC ever put that institutional system in place as a party.
CDC is an institution now. That's not concerned. For the past, I think, 3 or 4 elections, they have still been constant with a political party. And until we see, and the only thing that brought up in a big president, we are president, we are the states, and we see the party going there.
Information.
Institution in the country, and you just dispute that.
Yeah, I'm not disputing, but the idea for you to just come to say, "Oh no, the other people shouldn't." I mean, you can't.
In the Christian, somebody come from the area, they want 4 a small church in the basement, and 4 people behind us. So they made a very book on that thing instead of joining the existing church and do.
Why would I join something that is corrupted, something that is not even helping the system? Why would I want to be part of that? I can't.
Bro, how you know it's corrupt? But you can make a change when you get in there.
Make what?
If the world was supposed to be preached like that, you can join in and make a change. So the same people you want to bring in CNC, they are not like during that point that were in other political parties.
That's not what I'm saying. Until we get to know their vision, what it stands for, we will not know. Okay, thank you so much. Let's get to this number here, 612.
Jared has a point of information though.
Yeah, 1 second. 612 number, are you there?
Yes.
Let's see. What's your name and where you calling from, please?
I'm Joyce. I'm calling from Minnesota.
Okay, good evening. Let's hear you.
My concern is fire. It's horrible. For the political party, 2023 was 20, 2025 will be 50. That's fine. My concern is the fire. I'm still talking about this fire. Jim Collette said live. You saw him live. It was 11 o'clock in the night. He said, I ordered to take the chairs for in the Capitol building. Why you have to take the chair for the Capitol? They have not called him yet to the police station and asking questions. They have not called nobody from the other side to go to the police station. So why is it that they just conclude all by that supposed political fire is the one that caused the fire? What brought them to that conclusion that because they are supporting the political fire, they caused the fire? And they are we talk the white people, the experienced people like 2015 and I retire. All of fire service in America when like we took 3 days. We no laboratory like no fingerprinting in like nobody took 3 days to come to conclusion. Mr. Swak, Mr. Swak, keep saying my family is in Latvia. Latvia need to be very serious. The president is one person. Latvia, nobody because of Latvia. No political party because of Latvia. We are all Latvians. We need to be fair to each other. Jobs today, you can leave the job today, tomorrow another person take that job. We got to be honest, our career, our needs, our destroy a repetition. Like people, we need to be serious. Don't talk on it. Yeah, you remember the party business. We had 20 party last year. Next, the 27 there, but 22 political party, whichever win, we person on a bureau, but all concern.
Former onto a political party. Everybody. Who will go? Thank you so much. Okay, Jean David, let's hear you, and that's the last quarter to go back to the live feed for Davis. Let's hear you.
Yeah, good evening to everybody.
Good evening.
The reason some of the quarter calling, they don't know the reason of them calling. They say, why they calling Francisco Crew? You can remember who removed all the chairs from that place. They said they were repairing the building, like Francisco Crew. The security that were there. Did they call themselves for action? You can remember when the representative from Bon County, he was challenging Thomas Falalahi, get the key. Can't take it from me, and you see and say, man, you can remember all that case? All those cases are there. Who then were fighting those crew, those ones that Francisco Group. The other group was not doing all those stuff. So the police people are playing all those cases, they are playing their statement, what all they were saying, what all they were doing. So most of the people they just call it, why they can't call the other group, why they can't call the other group. When the other group went there to go move all the TSA, they called the security was on ground and they let the security on ground and they went outside to remove all the TSA in place of renovation. That's what they did. So they're not just calling Francisco for nothing. They're not calling Francisco group for nothing. They are already recording and people are talking. Maybe police get sending something, they don't reach to AA. Maybe they will use it when they interrogate them, they will use it later on. But police not put more evidence outside, but police get the evidence. They don't know yet. And they will get to them.
Okay.
And about the I don't know what you said.
When you know it, then you call up. Good night.
Okay, bye-bye.
Okay, guys. Let's. Oh man, Aaron, I'm picking no call now. No, you come with me to break up lots. Let's go back to the live feed. We'll get 15 minutes to go tomorrow again. Friday can break it. So, does anybody want to speak on this whole thing before we at least we can chip in another 2 persons? The other group of people who we didn't get to their talking point.
Yeah. Okay. Let me just say something quick. You see, investigation is something that you don't just end one day. It's a process that you go through. To my brother, let me tell you something. Somebody make a statement, you can go back 20 years later. You say, wow, somebody said this, and I think we can go back. Let me give you, I know you've been in America here for a while. O.J. Simpson case, when he used the N-word, that changed the dynamic of that whole case. When Billy asked him, have he ever used that N-word? He said, no. When it tastes surface. So when you say, what's the guy name? The other fellow who made the statement 10 years ago or 3 or 4 5 months ago, the police have to go back and look at the contents what that individual was speaking. So these are investigation.
Yeah.
Okay, fine. Yeah. So these are collaboration investigation. When you do investigation, you gotta dot all your I's and T. It's a puzzle you are solving. Well, let me say this. Hey, our Liberian people. Why you can't lead the professional people? Let them do their teaching. Let the teacher teach. Let them do their teaching. Let the nurse do their nursing work. Let the commuter do their commuter work. Every Liberian who want to be carpenter, who want to be lawyer. Just give the people that opportunity. When you're an electrician, let an electrician do their work. It is important, especially where somebody's life is on the line, that it will go to jail for the rest of their life, especially when it comes to arson and abuse. So it's something very critical. You're not going to take it lightly, because when that person is arrested and that person is charged and convicted, that person going to jail for their life. So some of who in the investigation wouldn't take it lightly and say that individual going to go to jail, but we take it very seriously. But people come here, they confuse the people. Oh, this one. Leave the people, let them do their job. Those who's supposed to do their job. And I want to say this.
So what we say. We will not leave them. When you're supposed to use really require wires that you're supposed to use to wire.
Hold on, come here.
It's not kind of Chinese. Look at saying we're burning people's houses. You be putting it there, then we talk. When teachers are supposed to use real crayon and they use cassava, dry cassava, you think you want round blackboard. I don't think that what CC can use. Don't go talk, okay?
You know, but that's why I went to school with the cassava. I want teacher run on the board. I went to school with a cassava. We use around the board. They dry the cassava and around the board. But here's the thing. Let me say this, please. As on investigation, the origin of the fire more likely will not have, you will not see more damage than where they will cause most damage. As on investigations, the evidence will be there, no matter what happened.
So let me ask you about this awesome, because that was one thing the police chief said. They pointed to the elements. I'm wondering, because from these people, have they connected? Have they said anything definitive to say, well, they were most likely as reported by the police chief? I didn't see that.
Listen,
that has been made a while.
No, I'm talking about the last.
You can call it arson.
They did say it was an arson. They did come up with that months ago.
I'm talking about the groups, the experts they just brought in with everything. I didn't see any word mentioned inside arson.
They use the word incendiary, which is even higher than arson.
It was calculated. Why they didn't use the word that was deployed by the police?
Because arson is a crime. So, and then you got a point. Incendiary just meant that they were using material that were flammable, that caused the gas, that caused the fire. That it wasn't right. That it wasn't a naturally occurring fire. That's what it meant. Because they couldn't go charge and say, "Oh, somebody intentionally can't do it," but they said, "Well, it was not." To say that incendiary devices were used meant that it was not something that happenstance by chance or that naturally occurred.
And they always look for the spots, the starts. So and pretty much, I believe that's where their focus was on. And let me just say something to back up Jerry. Kenneth needs to understand that this is not his emotions. He let his emotion take control of him all the time and think that CDC is being targeted when we make our statement. When we come in and we say something, we are saying it based on the knowledge that we've acquired and based on investigation tactics and what have you. I was only giving reference to the fact that Foco went to his meeting and we spoke earlier about individual corroborating stories. And I was just making to the reference to the fact that when Foco went for his first in-person meeting, Fanati accompanied him there. And that was wrong. And we made that clear on this show. So for him to come in and say, oh, the security expert said this and said that, we're just saying that everything that you do has to be done distinctly while you investigate it, because one thing can tint your entire case and it can be thrown out of court.
For me,
so security has to be very careful in their investigation, and Jerry mentioned interrogation. They're different. They're two different things when you compare evidence.
So for me on this whole thing, I will see, because I can talk on the peripheral and all the other things, but I think the most people to see to here will be the security folks and my brother Victor Nangbe when they start to look at the chemicals and the chemistry and all of those things that were used in there. I will see to him, but you probably can't always attack you and we come to there. For me, I've gotten used to that. We all come from Liberia where people that fail high school chemistry can be making bleaching cream for put a bathroom in. So that don't worry me no more.
But my chemistry harbor.
Yeah, but how do you say high school chemistry making bleaching cream to sell?
Okay.
Never mind.
You don't want to talk about your friend tonight?
Oh, my friend.
Kofa, you're not my friend. Wait. God forbid. I said
there's something. I mean, I know Sissy has and others have said the report. You know, it may not be the official report, which I think is a legitimate point. But let's assume it is.
I dare give you my time. I can allow me small.
You know, you're the White House people now. Where mansion posted it legitimate. So but I was looking at the introduction. That building, they said there are no sprinklers in that building, no smoke detector in that building, no fire alarm in that building, and I was saying, is this real?
No smoke detector, no smoke detector, no carbon.
Nothing.
Zero. In the whole of the Republic of Liberia, even down to the executive mansion. Let me just pause you a little. Even down to the executive mansion.
I was going, whoa.
Yes, there's not, but let me just say this. In 2000, we had one of the worst fire in Rhode Island. And that fire happened around February, right around February 15th. Die in that place. Do you know that were built right after that with that fire investigation that they have no sprinkler system? They compare everybody in Rhode Island, all the buildings, to install sprinkler system. So when those buildings were built, who thought about sprinkler system at the time? You see, so now that we have this issue, that's when the charter is supposed to come in place for the legislature to say every facility now needs to have installed fire.
Ridiculous, Mose. Ridiculous, Mose. Ridiculous on this one, Mose. Ridiculous.
Well,
ridiculous.
Hey,
you got people who are in a house. Hold on. I'm not going to challenge you right away. You got people who are working in the house.
Wait a minute.
You have people who work in the Senate. PhD holder. They were trained here in the United States. And you want to tell me they're going to sit in a building with no fire supplies, and you telling me that until the fire now we're going to come out and go with that?
You're not listening. You're not listening.
Y'all get it, Papa, juice bottle. Ain't they juice bottle?
There's something called prevention. There's something called prevention.
Something to that, baby.
I know. There's something called prevention. I think every government facility, needs to have an exit plan in the building.
Oh, you want to bring the juice bar and stay?
So what you said?
You drinking a juice bar?
You see, there's something called prevention. Now that we see these things happening, there has to be an exit plan.
Well, Mose, my point.
I'm not going to buy into that.
I beg you.
Okay, let me say this here.
This is only for us to learn for the 21st century moving forward.
Thank you. But let me say this to you.
We need to learn from our mistakes. And
okay, thank you. I got the point.
And now you're sure that the man who's so coming out, you're not talking.
Yeah, okay. I gotta call you up because
but here's another open secret though. And I found this out.
These people they shoot. That's something. Come on.
Can I say something on this here?
Upgrade our standard, our living condition.
Thank you.
These people, they should have done that. It's just inexcusable. They should have done that. These things, they are being electrical fault here and there. We saw the mansion, even something happened before the Capitol building. We're hearing that nothing much was done, and here we are. And these people travel everywhere and there. They see these things. They rationing monies among themselves, and they don't know that if common smoke detector not in a capital building.
Nothing.
My goodness.
If the smoke detector were put there, nobody was there at the time they fire.
Here is another open secret. Here's another open secret. And I found this out when Vonnie Sherman got sick. There is no first aid in that building. There is no nursing station. There is no wheelchair in that building. So you get sick wherever you are, they take you by the
point. Let me say this here on a very serious note. Let me say this on a very serious note.
Where you used to go vote when you were 7 years old.
Let's make a point before we make our closing statement for the night. Liberal, go ahead quickly.
Yeah, thank you. The point here is this. Look, we all agree. Many of those buildings over there in Liberia were built during the time when some of these standard tests has not even been done. ASDS has not even been established for them to be able to say, well, we have a test system and what have you. I agree. But here's what happened. Many of those people now, after the war, many of them came from other places, America, Ghana, Nigeria, to occupy those offices. And you want to tell me that nobody from among all of these smart people, no one is able to ask question, wait a minute, the building we're sitting in here, does it even have a sprinkler system? Nobody will be able to ask that kind of question. But yet still, they were allowed to themselves 100,000 to go and build what in their other places. This is not about them. This is about country. Now, because now you have a failure of the system. I agree. Now people are going to learn from that. But when Moe did 1,100, I call it 18 million, 18 million, that $1.8 million calculation he did. Did you see his chart? There's nothing in there that said fire extinguisher or sprinkler system. Nothing. But let me tell you one other story about the fire extinguisher.
We're not going to go total here tonight.
Mr. Soul, just I've been quiet all night. You want me to be quiet again? I'll be quiet. You know, big deal. I mean,
if you're talking to juice bottle, you ready to let him go, Mr. Soul. Let him go.
My pop boiling right now. I got time. I can't waste time with my pop boiling, so I want to go quick. Yeah, exactly. You know what I'm talking about.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. So, but here's the thing about the fire street. You know, in that same Rhode Island, there was a guy, a contractor, got caught. He was supposed to be building. That was the federal building they were building, and they were supposed to put fire sprinkler all over the place. Now the fire sprinkler usually have pipes running all across, and then they have the head of the pipe sticking out. And that's how you know they have this. But guess what? All he did was take coat hanger and put a sprinkler head down and run it in the wire and did the whole building with no pipes. It went on for years. It went on for years. until one accident happened. There was no fire. Some kind of accident happened and say, oh, but what if, how come the sprinkler not, and not even, you can hear the fire line going on, but no water coming from the sprinkler. So the sprinkler business, that's something to just play with that people can make trick out of that stuff. I just want to put that in there. Thank you and good night.
Thank you so much. All right, guys, we gotta go. Time has cut over. We'll try to be right on time. Let's do our closing, and we can wrap up for the.
Can I do my closing quick?
No, you just got through talking.
Well, what do you mean by no? I mean, Mr. So, you're speaking to the
This is unacceptable. When you on your program, nobody when you say it, that's it. So please. It's
allow me to release the audit report. They may not be doing that. They may start.
Yo, that you come and stop around. I come and go. I beg you. If the man say I'm not speak, I say okay. Let lead that one business.
What you want an audit report?
No. They acquired the committee down. You not yet a committee. The community have been disbanded.
I think enough is enough. We need to have a public declaration. What what would be done? Is there any action against Cesar Goya, who always speaking
The
on
man
his
took all my
other-
funding away. You treated me like you say, he took all my funding away. So
What a crazy man, he would have put his own the other man, Donald Trump.
Oh,
So in the action of the other report, the man trying to sell the station.
Look, okay.
No,
But on a serious note,
don't have other reporting. You go ahead, Mr. So.
before we go, there are a lot of things going on, and I'm going to make with this whole Capitol building issue. What's the next thing? Something. Yes. Yeah, no, I'm not gonna. That's not something I worry about. With this whole motorcyclist, the way the police and the government, I just thought probably there would be a way to do it if they was really going to take their time. And one of the possible way was to make sure all of these people seem to register, and that's what I want to extend this recommendation to Jerry Bacont and the Liberal Progressive, and perhaps the bishop out there as well. Maybe the best way they would have done this was to sort of decentralize and kind of regulate these motorcycles. I know it's kind of crazy how the town city can be clustered, but for example, they get your residency. If you're in Ghana Village, you run within that area to avoid the city because the city too. But our people to get system into place, they don't see it that way. But I'm sure that for government, they didn't take all of that into consideration, allow the people to register, get this, get that, they got it, and then later on, things just turned away. Or I thought maybe they would use that. Okay, if they are contained, you are in Ghana Village, maybe they have designed a plate, you should run within your confined area. You can't leave because even like Texas, there are other places. There are Arico, Ghana, there are certain places. There are certain zone you don't just go to. Even like here, the airlines here, there are certain airlines whether they do not have the capacity, that's a different thing. But these things are allocated. There are reasons to do those things. So probably if they have done that, that will put to a rest with this whole motor bite. You to see where you live. When you in Douala, run within that whatever perimeter they're going to set. You stay there. How many of these people are going to be in Maria?
Those proposals, some of the proposals were submitted back in 2013 to the government. I can tell you that because I personally went there and I did that when what's his name, Chris Massacre was IG. Those things were already presented back in 2013.
Okay, don't worry. When 2029, when we are elected, we'll take into consideration these good proposals, and that's where we are coming. Okay, guys, let's wrap up here.
So, Mr. So, seriously, on a very serious note, I read something today, and I thought to myself that Liberia, I think, in order for us to seriously move this country forward, again, and Liberian diaspora going to have to talk, but I think it has to come from the ground. Musa Ability's son, who was arrested because of drug charges and whatever risky they have on the drug issue, was arrested and let out by the court. And there was a condition set for his release. And he followed those conditions. Liberians got involved. They politicized that. The court then got some sort of a cold feet and put him back. The same court today, I believe, has the young man being released again. First of all, the young man is sick. But if you listen to all of us, for some reason, I could be wrong, but we do not seem to have the redemptive spirit in us. We have the spirit of punishment, primitive type deal we have, like, he must be punished because he should have known better.
Okay.
World don't work like that. And I think we need to seriously think about our own selves.
Thank
You
you
got
so much.
kids, and these are very serious problems. But go ahead. That will be the end. And like I said, my pot body. I gotta go. Thank you very much.
You just said need redemption. You're talking about people should
People
be.
get
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, let's hear you,
Good
Terry.
night. Good night.
All right, can we go? Let me do my closing quick. Then
Terry,
if you
okay,
don't
go ahead,
mind.
Mr. Bacon.
You see, what happened in our country
But
is that
hold on 1 second. Liberal, you cannot leave. This is unacceptable. Your friends, they listen. These are some of the problems we have in the country. Your talk, people listen to you. When other people are talking, then you say good night. Please, let's listen to Bacon and listen to every other.
You're not only a dictator, but now you're forcing people to stay here. What do you think this is, China?
We need some people, so all people need to be forced to do the right thing. And you're one of those that we're going to force you. Go ahead, Mr. Bacon. I'm going to business.
You see, it's about time we start learning how to prevent. That's what we need to do. It's a sad day in our country, especially when it comes to the fire issues in Liberia. It's not the first time happening, not the second time happening. The executive march in 2006. Now we had another one at the Capitol building. Then we got our Liberian
Let's take 1 minute, please.
Yeah. Well, I come quick. I get done. If you look at our history, we didn't even have a fire drill to say if something happened, where do we go? There's no fire drill. I'm a big corrupt. Even the executive marshal, let me be blown here. If something happened right now, where do we get rid of the president? We never have a fire drill. The president, or the former president, to current. Even JFK. If something happened to JFK, one of the renowned hospitals, we never even have a fire drill. Look what happened in Mark give you the last time. About almost 100 and some more people died because we are not prepared. People have not been trained when something happened, how to evacuate people in the building. It's never happened, and it is time for us to start thinking. Listening very well. These are the problems we are having in our country. And people do it to try to politicize it, or because of this. No, it is not time. It's just listen to those who have the ideas, getting the opportunity to serve. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Mr. Collins?
Okay, thank you. I just have some questions for Mr. Bacon and the security analyst. What if Honorable Kofa and all those people who went over there, because I think, in my opinion, I think they made a mistake. I don't know which one is which. Were they going through interrogation?
So that question there, Terry, when you come on your Tabata night tomorrow, they can answer that.
Yeah, maybe they will answer it by just throwing it out there. Maybe even Mr. Sickbeck.
All right, thank you.
Way passing, going out. So, yeah, because that's my own closing. I want to know. I want to learn.
All right.
So, whether if it was interrogation or investigation they were going through, because I heard you saying they are two different. But what if Honorable Kofa say, I need my lawyer? I'm not going to say anything. Would the investigators compel him to say something?
No.
Or because, in my opinion, I think he have the right to reserve commenting in an investigation in the presence of a lawyer. He can advocate and say, I want a lawyer. I'm not going to speak.
You want a sedition? You want a sedition to ask for a lawyer in Liberia? The people want the people.
But they can't compel you to say anything.
Gentlemen,
in the absence of a lawyer.
We gotta go.
Okay. So, and I didn't see him coming out with lawyer today or going, I didn't see him coming with lawyer. I just saw him coming from him. So, in my opinion, if every one of them never requested for a lawyer and as they agreed to the interrogation, they have already been indicted. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much. Most, let's go ahead quickly.
Okay. Let me just throw a little light on Collins's, on Terry's thing. That's what they call Miranda rights. In investigation, you read the person their Miranda rights. You got the right to remain silent. Anything you say can be used against you in a court of law. If you ask for an attorney to be present, you will be granted that. Now, that is because you have a probable cause and that person is under arrest. But in an investigation where you got people of interest, they can also come in with a lawyer and they cannot deny them that right. But when you have, and that's what I raised the question the last time, when Foucault was going in as a person of interest to be questioned, was Fanati his lawyer or he went in as speaker? And I also made reference to the fact that the first police chief that arrested a lawmaker was Vonnie Dempster for assaulting a police officer. And Richard Henry went to the police station to ask Vonnie Dempster why he arrested a police legislator. And Vonnie Dempster's answer to Richard Henry was, no one assault a police officer in uniform or without uniform. If a simple person did that, we would arrest them, and a lawmaker who made the law should know better. And Richard Henry wept his butt, and he walked away.
Okay.
So the investigation part is different. So here's my closing.
Oh, the one you did that salad dressing?
No, I just answered his question. I was there to
30 seconds, Mose.
your show. More detail.
Thank you.
The political parties, and I agree with Sissy, the political parties, we see in Liberia that these people form these coalitions and they come in because they want to have leverage. They want to build leverage. They want to have a seat at the table so that what the country is going through is what they can go through. That when you elect one person in, they'll bring all these different people from the groups.
All right. We are in this time. We gotta leave it there.
Well, oh, my time over already?
We gotta leave it there. We are already. Take it to Liberal tomorrow.
You're not coming. We're not allowing people to come on.
Thank you very much.
I want your own, so that I want to leave it here. Let's hear you, Mr. Namwe.
Thank you very much, Mr. So, and I'm very happy that you have been able to avert a hostile sale of NPR. At least we can still come here and talk about Tabata. So thank you very much. So you know, Moses and I think it was Terry, I think Jerry, we talked a lot about the interior, what is lacking in terms of the fire extinguisher and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Then there is the whole sorry story of Parliament's interview that he gave. I mean, he is like condemned the whole country. How, you know, there's no trained fire investigators, they have no training, they know nothing. And I'm just wondering how, you know, the IG and those who brought him in are feeling, you know. Even though some of what he said was true, I think our people can, but the people he condemned, he basically took a report. If the report we're seeing circulating is their report, he just copied and pasted. He did absolutely nothing new. And the exact report that was here is the same report he issued. The same thing. He quoted the people because he wasn't here when the fire incident happened. He was citing dates and times when investigations were conducted. He couldn't have done that because he wasn't here on December 18th. And so sometimes, you know, we have to learn to lean on our own expertise. It's just that many of us feel that these people were probably brought in to clean up whatever investigation result they have. And then, you know, they'll come out and the white will finish it, and then, you know, that's true. One, the white will say. So, you know, we hope they will take some interest in the kind of people they invite here to, you know, to do whatever they want to do. People come here 3-4 days, and then they have a conclusion over a fire investigation, and now then what? So that's that. But what really concerns me more than this is this morning I read.
What kind of show is this tonight?
This is the Wednesday. This is the Wednesday evening show. This is not conversation with the liberal. This is the real.
30 seconds. We gotta go.
All right, so in 30 seconds. I woke up this morning and I read Amara Coney expressing indignation because Donald Trump mentioned Liberia, and Liberia is being made, you know, a laughing stock and all of that. And I just thought, you know, this is another young rising star, just as I thought that one way. If what I saw is his $100,000 project, I thought I was disappointed. I thought Amara really is starting to be a disappointment. He was a promising voice, but I think he has lost his voice. He is getting upset with Trump for mentioning. How about he begin to conduct hearings? He's a senator.
Okay. We gotta go.
Thank you very much.
But what did Trump say? I didn't even get that one.
He mentioned Liberia. Some of the
for election education. But I want to say thanks. I'm glad to be back. Just wanted to close with a few things. When the people did a map-up exercises, the people who don't know how to spy, only smart people can spy, only smart people can steal. You steal money, you steal the container, all the plastic bag inside. We ask you for ASM to bring white people, brought a crow report. They said, no, we can't accept it. The building burned out. Prominent citizens were saying that the Lebron people are not capable of conducting an investigation. The poor brought white people here. Said, no, we not want it. What do you want? Then my uncle saying I writing letter to Donald Trump to say they're reading kissing to Donald Trump. You understand? Spanish that kissing going on writing. Look, the last but not least, this is Lent. This is Ash Wednesday. The liberal is good to forgive people. We are all, we believe in things. But for me, when I look at the harm that drug dealers do to other people, I don't think they are deserving of forgiveness. And for me, I think as long as God has not forgiven Satan yet, we might not be forgiving people. That will bring in the problem. Some proof is necessary. So many people they need to keep them the way the day God forgive Satan, they will forgive some people.
They said I'm going to look back at it.
The man, what you said, the man, okay, guys, thank you so much.
I got no comment on that one.